Hey guys, this is gonna be part 2 of my Cuphead no dashing video, so if you haven't seen the first part, you should probably go watch that first. I mean, you don't really have to, it doesn't really change anything, I just think it would be, I guess, a better idea to get the premise of it, but yeah. To those of you who didn't see my video about taking a break, I mentioned in that video that I had to re-record the entirety of part 2, and I did. And this is the re-recording of it, because the original recording, well, you know, if you saw the video, it was just terrible. It was literally unusable footage. But I'm glad to say now that I got it under control. It does not look like garbage anymore, and you can actually tell what's going on. It's kind of sad that I don't have the footage of the original one, because the original one just showed me actually learning from my mistakes and doing a bunch of stuff. Because there was a bunch of tricks that I had to learn in order to beat some of the levels, like Perilous Piers. That wasn't fun. But now that you're seeing me redo it, it's kind of like I just know everything, so I guess it's not as entertaining as it could be, so I apologize for that. Without wasting any more time, let's begin. I started off with Werner Honeybottoms, that giant bee thing, but yeah, here's the footage. Werner Honeybottoms was never really hard for me, but I can't say the same for my friend Skycake, who, I kid you not, it took him like 50 to 20-ish attempts. Dashing wasn't really a necessity at all at this fight, so that's why it was kind of easy for me, but yeah, I don't know. I also did the third phase of this fight, like, almost instantly. As soon as it started, it ended. Next up, that weird rat thing. So yeah, this is a pretty standard issue fight with only one notable thing that I'll talk about in a second here, but even that wasn't that interesting. Fun fact, I actually never even use those bouncing pads, like, ever, aside from, like, sometimes, but really I only get smoke dash through them. Honestly, I don't know. That was a very uninteresting fact, by the way. Fun fact, when the cat attacked me with the claw, I transitioned to another clip. I don't know if you noticed, but I thought it was cool. Next up was the pirate guy that I don't know the name for. Somebody tell me. Actually, don't, because I can just find out myself, but I'm too lazy to. Fun fact, at the start of this fight, I was telling myself how easy it was to get parries on the stage, and then I proceeded to get like 0 parries. So that was nice. With that wrapped up, I moved on to Perilous Piers, the hardest challenge yet. Not actually, because this was the do-over. It was only hard on the first time. Like I said, Perilous Piers was only hard the first time I tried to beat this challenge. Obviously, since I'm redoing it now, it's not really that hard. But I'll go through every single part where I used a special trick to accomplish it. First off, I had to get at least 6 or 5 hearts specifically using the heart ring. Otherwise, it would be completely impossible, for me at least. I don't know if there's any other things I could have done. As you can see right here, this is where the normal coin would be. Since I already got it, it's not here. But the trick I had to do was wait for a parryable fish, parry the fish while jumping towards it, parry the fish, and then I would have just enough jump to get the coin, because I couldn't get the coin normally by jumping. I just couldn't jump that far. And I couldn't use Miss Chalice, which I'll get into later. Then I moved on to the harder parts of the level. Now, the rule for me was I couldn't go under 5 hearts, because if I went under 5 hearts, it wouldn't be possible for me. So really, I had 1 hit that I could take before I had to restart. I also had to line up these jumps perfectly, jumping at the very edge, otherwise I wouldn't make it. If I were to mess up a single one of these jumps, I would actually have to restart. It wasn't very fun. So as you can see there, I had to damage boost twice. I mean, there's probably a way to not have to damage boost, but I don't know, I kinda needed to. I forgot to say this, but I couldn't use Miss Chalice because I actually needed 6 hearts exactly, so I had to use Heart Ring. And that requires pairing, and also you can't have 2 things at the same time. I needed the second heart here because I never actually made it to the end with 2 hearts because I always used my final one on jumping, and I would always land in the ocean, so I had to damage boost up. There's probably a way to not have to damage boost, but I didn't have enough time to find it. Next up, I started on Rugged Ridge. It took me a few attempts, and really all I was doing was trying to conserve my HP and do it as quickly as possible. Oh, and I actually started using Miss Chalice again. So yeah, this one was pretty easy, but I was already dreading the next boss I'd have to do. Finishing off Rugged Ridge, I moved on to Dr. Kahl's robot, which is what I thought would be the hardest part of this challenge. This actually didn't take me too many attempts because I already knew what I was doing. I found out by a YouTube comment by a guy named 3am Pizza Rolls that I actually could shrink down by pressing Q. Q is my lock button, but I think I changed it to left shift just for ease of access. Also, fun fact, he was like one of the only people who actually put a smiley face in their comment, which if you didn't know, basically at the end of the video I said put a smiley face in your comment if you watched all the way through, so not a lot of people did. Back to the fight here, it was actually kind of easy. The final phase isn't as hard as it used to be, but yeah, I don't know. Really all it was pairing the purple ones to get extra HP and shooting the guy. Actually, big tip here, don't actually focus on him, focus at things coming towards you. Majority of the time you're gonna hit him even if you're not even looking at him, so that's what I did. I actually 8+'d it, which was kind of cool, so yeah. I then moved on to Sally Stageplay, which was honestly arguably one of the easiest bosses in Inkwell 3, up there with that rat thing. Just to kind of ignore how I just died there. Fun fact, one of the failed attempts I did on this one, I ended up trying to parry something as Miss Chalice, but I didn't try to do it the normal way. I tried to do it the Cuphead way where you had to hit spacebar. Yeah, actually, I'll just show you the clip. Alright. That was really stupid of me. Back to the actual video, I started finishing it out pretty quickly from here. The only annoying thing here was the big wave, which I literally couldn't get past without taking damage, so there was that. Next up, Cala Maria. Yeah.
Here's a real high-class bout.
King Dice is the only one I'm actually kind of annoyed about. It didn't take me too many tries, but yeah, like I said, I've already done this before. She was just kind of slightly annoying as always. The no dashing really didn't affect this fight. I kind of wasted all my HP at the end, but I killed her with a nuke, so that's okay. I then moved on to the final boss in Inkwell 3, the Phantom Express. Before I started, I quickly changed my lock control. Also, a nice tip for the first stage, just use Roundabout because it one-shots all the eyeball things. It's honestly just super easy with Roundabout. The second stage was just kind of the same as always. And yeah, basically all the stages were really just the same. None of them really required dashing in any sort of way that made it hard. I just noticed, but this train looks like a total weirdo. I mean, look at his face. I mean, I don't judge people, but I don't know, this guy's something else. And with that, Inkwell 3 was finished. Time to move on to King Dice, which is kind of what I've been dreading the most. Little did I know at this point that I would be spending an hour, an actual hour, on that one fight. The most amount of time I've ever spent on a single Cuphead fight ever. Usually they take like 2 minutes, but Jesus, that was just not fun. Now, before I did anything, I had to actually make sure that I got 2. Specifically 2 on the dice. I couldn't get 3 because if I did 3, I've already tested it. I don't have a big enough jump to make it across the gap. And I didn't do 1 because, well, 2 is bigger than 1 and 2 is superior. But for some reason today, I just kind of forgot how to get numbers easily. Because last time I did this, I knew exactly how to get 1. I could get 2 pretty consistently, and 3 was like the easiest one to get them all. But now, today, I don't even know what happened. I can't do that anymore. It's way too hard. I have no idea. So I'd be sitting on the second safe space trying to get to 8, because 8's actually the easiest one. It's the 8 ball. It's insanely easy. But every single time, I kid you not, I'd be on the second safe. I would get 3, which would send me to 9, and I don't know if you've ever played 9, but oh my god, it is not fun. I literally, anytime I got 9, I actually never completed the run. I either instantly restarted or attempted and failed. Yeah, it was not fun. So as you can see here, I'm fighting the fight that I always dread to fight, 9, aka the little monkey thing. I have no idea what it's called. But yeah, you think right now that I'm doing good, but no, I was not doing good. For me, that level was just doing the same damn thing over and over again, except you got nowhere because you always died. Halfway through the hour, 30 minutes in, and this was still what I was doing. And I'm not even showing you all the attempts because there's too many. I'm only going to show you like 2 failed attempts, but there's like 30. Obviously there wasn't 30, it was less than that, but it just kind of gives you an idea of how it felt to me. And I unironically actually got really good at the magic rabbit thing, even though I used to be really bad at it, which was kind of like the only good thing that came out of this except winning. So yeah, just picture yourself playing for an hour, a straight hour, and each fight takes you about 3 minutes. So for an hour, you're doing 3-minute fights, and you're constantly just dying and losing, and you're doing this over and over. And actually, I'm going to do the math here. Let me see how many attempts that was. So basically, I had around 20 attempts, which isn't exactly accurate because I didn't exactly spend an hour, but I rounded it up. So basically, it took me around 20 attempts, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. Now I'm going to show you the actual clip where I won, surprisingly. It only took an hour. So it started off by getting 2 and finding that chips thing. I have no idea. I almost accidentally retried there because I thought I got like 3 or 1 or something, but I'm glad I didn't. So yeah, this was just kind of more the same for me. I've been fighting the same boss for 20 attempts now, so this part wasn't very hard. On my final attempt, that is. The second mini-boss I had to fight was the rabbit guy something, and basically he also wasn't very hard, because like I said earlier, I actually got pretty good at him. With that wrapped up, moving on to my third boss, the Russian roulette table, not the gun game, the gambling thing. Yeah, I honestly have no idea what this thing's name is. I don't know. I will say this fight was very annoying because it would periodically speed up and then slow down, which would confuse me. I have no idea. I also had no way of dodging the pellets because either I wasn't fast enough or it wasn't possible without dashing or whatever. I then got 1 on purpose just to fight the 8-ball guy because I knew he'd be really easy and I didn't want to risk the chance of getting 9. With all the mini-bosses wrapped up, I moved on to King Dice, which by the way, I only really made it to him a handful of times, and the times I did, I got destroyed mostly, because I can't parry. It's kind of funny how quickly I beat him, even though it took me so many attempts just to get here. With that horrible atrocity over with, I moved on to the Devil, which I wasn't really sure what to expect, because I just got done with King Dice, and that literally took me an hour, so I didn't know what to expect. At least I got an A. Out of anything that could have happened and the amount of attempts it could have taken me, I certainly wasn't expecting one attempt. I kid you not, while I spent an hour and 20 attempts on King Dice, it took me one attempt and 2 minutes on the Devil. How ironic. All in all, the Devil wasn't really hard, like, at all. I don't know what I was expecting. Moving on to the phase where he's in his giant head, I have no idea, but basically, it was also very easy. I find that kind of funny how the Devil steals people's souls, but then starts crying when you start beating him. You know, you think he'd be like angry and, you know, trying to murder us and, you know, be all, you know, spooky and stuff, but all he really is just some sad guy trying to murder us. In my opinion, his final stage is always the easiest stage if you have double jump or just, I don't know. With the Devil wrapped up, I actually finished the challenge this time. This challenge was actually kind of fun to record, but at the same time, holy, I never want to do this again. That King Dice fight, oh my god. I then went to check how many times I died, and lo and behold, I died 66 times. That's actually not that bad, which is kind of funny when you compare it to how many times it took me in my first playthrough of this game, like 300, but when I do a challenge that's supposed to be harder, it only takes me 66. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any suggestions for a challenge, feel free to leave a comment down below. Oh, and if you actually made this far, leave a smiley face at the end of your comment to let me know that you actually watched all the way through. So yeah, I hope you have an amazing day and goodbye.